Hey guys, how's it going? We're gonna do a little flipping around of the camera today, and we're gonna talk CSG grading and my experience with that. I'm looking at this from about a 6-month perspective now, my first time sending in to CSG. So I'll start with the beginning. First off, signing up for CSG, there's 3 tiers. One was $25, one was $150, one was $300. Each tiers have different benefits to them. Go ahead and look those up. I'm not going to get too far in, and what I would tell you is I signed up for the middle tier, which was the $150 tier. However, you get a $150 credit when you sign up for that, and that's for both the $150 middle tier and for the I believe it's called elite tier or what it is. So either one of the 2 higher levels, you get a $150 credit. So when you send your cards back in to get graded, they take that off the top of your bill. It's actually pretty simple. It's kind of confusing because it's not really communicated that well, I didn't think in the beginning, but so signing up was pretty easy. Now when you go to get ready to send your order off for CSG, they don't have just a purely online submission where you submit your cards online. So what you do is you do file them essentially online, but then you have to print out a piece of paper, and after you print out the piece of paper, that's what you put in with your order and send it off to them. Now, I started my order, I did my order, I got it already after I signed up and all that stuff, and then I realized I had actually double put the same card on there. And so I emailed them and I was like, hey, I'm not really sure how you want this done. I wasn't sure how like concrete it was in their system and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, no problem. Actually, on the piece of paper that you have, just go ahead and scribble it out. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird, but whatever. And then at the same time, actually, before I sent it out, I got another card in the mail that I'd bought on eBay. And it was actually this, and I'll put a better picture of it up. Or you can see it pretty well. It is the Sal Frelick First Bowman Ray Wave. I got it in the mail and I was like, that's in really, really nice condition. I want to add that to my order. So I emailed them again. Actually, it was the same person that I emailed them. I just responded and I said, hey, what should I do? I just want to add this card. She's like, oh, you can either write it on, which I just thought was weird because you've already submitted it online, or you can go ahead and just create a whole new order. So that's what I did. I just created a whole new order to clean it up. I didn't want them getting an order where they got a bunch of scratches and things like that on there, because guess what? I also want them to look at my cards as if I have my stuff together when I'm submitting my cards. So it might sound crazy, but maybe I get a little better grade here and there. So that's my thoughts. So once I got that all settled, so I actually showed on CSG's website, I haven't looked in a minute, but it actually showed that I had 2 orders created. They were essentially the same thing except for one card was different, but I ended up sending 30 cards off. Took the max amount of time that they say they have, as far as their return times and stuff like that. It was at the $12 price. Like I said, it was about 6 months ago, so it was during that pre-holiday time where they were getting ready. They'd reduced their prices, and so that's when I submitted. I'll say this. Whatever slabs you like is whatever slabs you like. It's fine. Personally, the look of CSG is nice. I am not the biggest fan of the look of PSA slabs. That is what it is. That's your own personal thing. Before I submit it, I will say that during the process, I have an old CSG slab. I actually bought this with the intention of sending it in with my CSG order. So as you can see, it's a Boba. It's a 9.5. Before I forget about explaining what kind of annoyed me about this process. So like I said, it's not always clear price-wise what you're getting with them. So I added the service of the re-encapsulating it, and it showed additional charges for shipping, and it showed it was $20. Now I had thought it was $10, and and it very well could have been, but they don't. When you submit an order, you don't get billed right away. until essentially they accept your order, unpack it, and start grading it. It's actually after they've graded it, but for the point of the conversation. So what I would say is it looked on paper like I was going to pay $40 to get that put into a rehold, to get it reholdered, I guess is the proper terminology, and I wasn't going to pay $40 to get it reholdered. Now, if I figure out and send another order in that says that would actually, because this card would turn into a 10, I think, which isn't a huge deal, but back when they did subgrades and had the old holders, if I found it was gonna be $10 and it would get shipped there and back with my same order, and they wouldn't be double charging me for shipping and stuff like that, heck yeah, I'm probably gonna send it in for $10 or whatever. But so I got it back. All of the grades I got were within reason. There was nothing that I thought that was crazy, that was overly well graded. You can go back. It's actually, I think, the first video I did where you can just go back. You can watch my video. I didn't do the big grand unboxing and stuff like that. Just showed you the cards. That's all you really want to see anyways. So moving on. So afterwards now. So just so you know where I'm coming from as far as experience goes, I'm a collector. I do sell on eBay. I usually run anywhere from like 30 to 60 cards on eBay at any time. I don't want it to be a big thing. I just use it to offset costs. That's the only thing I do. So I'm not spend, and never ever, if I go buy a blaster or something like that, I might try and sell 1 or 2 cards out of it. It just depends on what it is, what I pull. It really is, it varies. So I have sold now several CSG slabs. The first time, I want to say the first time I actually sold one, so it was pretty recently. I went to card show in Madison in Wisconsin, and I took a stack of CSG cards with me, and I just was going to see if anybody was interested in buying them for a fair price or whatever. So towards the end of the day, I went back out to my vehicle and picked them up, and I think it was 7 or 8 cards. Wide variety of them. I know one of them was the Juan Soto Whammy. That's a 10. I have that listed right now on eBay for like 160, 170, somewhere in there. It's a 10 and it's a whammy. The base is, I think over $100. So I had a J-Rod 10. I had a Jackson Churro First Bowman First Edition 10. Shohei Base Rookie 10. And I had one vintage card, which was this Roger Maris. So you can see that's a 6. It is a 61 tops. It's a really nice card. And then this is just, so I had one of these. I had 2 of these. I bought a whole bunch of cards in a lot of Jackson Churro before he became popular because I'm a Brewer fan. So flipped some of them, made a little money off them. And then I had one of these. Sorry for the glare, but I'll try and put pictures of these up that are a little better. But it's a J-Rod 9.5. The other one that I have since sold was a 10, and I'll get to that. So I walked up to one of the dealers that said they were, they just had a little sign there that said they're buying, trading, whatever. So I just handed them and said, hey, are you interested in any of these? Yar, I don't care. And they kind of flipped through them, yada, yada, yada. Actually, that 01 Bowman, they picked up and they said, oh, we've never seen this card. It's really cool. And I said, explain it as just an online card, it's all online exclusive. But I think it was an early one before he was really, really, really popular. And I'd already, usually buy a couple of them here and there. Depends on what it looks like. It just all depends. So I handed all the stack to him. They picked that J-Rod up and they're like, yep, we're interested in that. And then they picked out the first edition of the Jackson Churro, and they picked out the Shohei Base Rookie and said, these are the 3 we're interested in. Let me look at comps. Now, my experience is going to be, and tell you the truth, that I was just looking to move a couple cards. It was really nothing other than that. It was like, I held on to these cards and probably gotten more for them? Yes. I should have looked at comps instead of, I generally know the price of them, but I should have looked at comps a little more thoroughly, and I probably could have got a little bit more money for them. But listen, I sold the first edition and the Shohei for $20. I should have gotten more. I know they have to make money. I made money on them, but it is what it is. So they said they were looking at the J-Rod in a 10, and they said they were only looking at, I think, $20 or $30 for that. And I said, I have that listed for $120 some on eBay, and I get a lot of views on it, and I'm fine with holding on to that one. They said, yeah, that's no problem. So I ended up selling those for $40. I'll tell you that they looked at CSG and they kind of like scoffed at it a little bit. I think I would have sold them the whammy for, I probably would have given it to them around $100. Once you get eBay fees and shipping and all that stuff, and frankly, I'm just looking to move it at this point. If I have to pay eBay fees and stuff, it's one thing, but I want more, obviously. So continuing, they weren't really interested. They said, because it's unlicensed, they just have a really hard time moving that stuff, which is fine. I get it. So they bought those two cards. I went to another dealer that was in a different room. I went upstairs. They said they were buying vintage. Okay, so I took that Roger Maris card. That's a 6, and I just said, "Hey, are you interested in this?" Like you said, yar or yarn. I don't really care. He literally looked at it and he was like, "Nah." I was like, "Well, you didn't even want to know a price. Didn't even care." The way he acted, he brushed me off. Put it like this: the next time I go there, he had some nice stuff. I actually picked up a couple of his cards and looked at him for quality. Didn't end up buying anything from him, but not because of that. But I probably wouldn't even go back to his booth. Just the way he cold shouldered me. So what I would say is, I will tell you that CSG stuff does not move that well. If you're expecting to get like decent value for it. Now, I know that going in, the vast majority of the things that I sent in are personal, my own cards. Like, I'm not looking to move them. I sent some cards in to offset the price of sending in a $300 to $400 order or whatever it ends up being, right? And so, hey, since I forgot to add it in during the initial recording that I did it all in one shot, I forgot to add that the J-Rod 10, the 01 Bowman design, ended up selling for a little over $90, and that was not including shipping. They paid for shipping and stuff like that, so just $90 about minus the fees. So that money that they offered me there, the dealer, were pretty extreme lowball. So is what it is. Well, I don't think I'll hesitate to send cards into CSG again. I really liked the service I got. They were communicated really well. The slabs look nice. But if you are a person that is looking to flip an entire order or something like that, I don't know. It's just, I guess I probably wouldn't try that personally. Depends on what you got. Couple downfalls as well. Different size cards. They don't do any giants. Like I've said before, I collected a whole 64 Topps Giants. I have several cards getting ready to send off to SGC actually, along with some other cards that are odd sized. SGC cards in different size holders, 51 Bowman type cards that are different. They're not standard size. Look a little bit cleaner, I think. You don't have that weird plastic around, just like it's the same in PSA. If you got a Allen and Ginter Mini, they have the weird plastic around it. Just doesn't really look that nice, I don't think. SGC is, when it comes to that, is far and away, hands down. It's just whether or not I get around to sending it in to them, or when I do. So hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to ask. I want you to know that this is coming almost purely from just an information standpoint. I have no horse in the game. I do not have anything to do with CSG. I'm not making this video to discourage you from sending. I'm not doing this to encourage you. I'm for this video to make you decide whether you're going to use them or not. It's just for information only. It's just for sharing information. That's really what it's about. So you can be educated. Like I said, I enjoyed them. If you see my display back here, they look great. in that display, you'll see I have some, other cards other than CSG, but they all look fine, but the CSG cards just look really nice, and they're all, when they're all displayed together, it looks nice. So hopefully I didn't bore you too much on this. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. I could probably talk about this for another 15-20 minutes, but I don't want to waste your time. And if you're still even listening, I appreciate it. Thank you.